Accusing another fighter of cheating, especially when the stakes are at their highest, is among the gravest offenses one can commit in the realm of professional boxing. It transcends trash talk. It isn't a clever psychological tactic, nor is it a mere attempt to gain an edge. It's a direct assault on a fighter's character. So when Stephen Fulton Jr. and his camp began raising serious concerns about the legitimacy of Naoya Inoue's glove-wrapping practices, they weren't just tossing fuel on the fire of pre-fight drama, they were launching a missile at Inoue's integrity. They alleged not just wrongdoing but calculated manipulation, suggesting that the Japanese boxing icon was breaking regulations in order to gain an unfair advantage. They cited photographic evidence, video footage, and a sequence of events involving tape and gauze that they believed violated official protocols. This wasn't idle speculation. It wasn't murmured behind closed doors. These accusations were declared openly, confidently, and with the firm assertion that they were based on hard facts rather than paranoia. To the public, it looked like a concern for fairness. But to many boxing observers, it carried the scent of panic. Naoya Inoue's ascent in the sport hadn't been built on marketing gimmicks or well-timed matchmaking. From the moment he emerged on the professional scene, Inoue displayed a type of mastery that suggested he was something far more significant than a regional prospect. His growth was steeped in discipline, fueled by a cerebral approach to the sport's mechanics, and carried out with a terrifying efficiency. There were no corners cut. Every division he touched saw him rise rapidly, but not recklessly. Before he even faced Fulton, Inoue had already cleaned out the bantamweight division, becoming the undisputed champion in a run that many deemed too dominant to be real. But it was real. He didn't just win, he dismantled. He didn't just compete, he dictated. Moving up to super bantamweight, Inoue was in pursuit of higher mountains, not because he had to, but because he had already conquered everything else in sight. Stephen Fulton Jr., meanwhile, was no paper champion. He earned his reputation the hard way, through wars of attrition, grueling battles, and opponents many chose to avoid. Hailing from the tough boxing streets of Philadelphia, Fulton was a technician by nature, but one who could mix it up when needed. He secured his first major title in a brutal fight against Angelo Leo, where he proved he could withstand pressure and dish out punishment. That win alone could have earned him temporary praise. But then he doubled down, taking on the dangerous Brandon Figueroa in another physically demanding fight. That bout wasn't just about skill, it was about grit, and Fulton emerged victorious again. What separated Fulton from many others was his adaptability. He could box on the back foot, push forward, switch stances, and fight inside or outside. He understood range. He knew how to control tempo. Against most men, that was enough. But Inoue wasn't most men. And in the lead-up to their clash, perhaps recognizing the scale of the challenge, Fulton's team decided to focus attention on something other than the fighter across from them. Their accusations about Inoue's glove wrapping became the dominating narrative heading into fight night. Every media conversation was colored by it. The mood of the boxing community shifted. All eyes were drawn to what was supposed to be a routine pre-fight procedure. And when the official hand-wrapping took place under strict oversight, the truth emerged. There was nothing irregular. Every wrap, every fold of gauze, and every turn of tape was within regulation. Officials observed, inspected, and cleared the process without hesitation. Inoue's team had followed the rules. The tension in the room remained, but the doubt had been extinguished. The fight was now front and center. And what a fight it promised to be. Two undefeated champions. Two top-tier athletes near or at their peaks. Two contrasting styles that, on paper, made for a fascinating battle. On one side stood the aggressive precision and brutal efficiency of Inoue, who brought with him not only belts and records but also the pride of an entire nation. On the other side was Fulton, the smooth, calculating technician from Philadelphia who believed his style, his smarts, and his experience would allow him to tame the storm. This wasn't just about titles. It was about supremacy. It was about proving whose style reigned supreme. Power versus finesse. Timing versus rhythm. Firepower versus footwork. The arena buzzed with anticipation. Fans knew this wouldn't be just another title bout. It would be a moment of clarity in the murky debates about pound-for-pound greatness. The first round opened cautiously but with unmistakable intensity. Both fighters respected each other's weapons. There was no wild flurry, no reckless lunges. Inoue, the smaller man by size, took the initiative and claimed center ring with quiet confidence. He wasn't jabbing wildly. He wasn't throwing flashy combinations. He was studying, observing Fulton's movements, testing the space between them. Fulton, meanwhile, kept his jab pumping, circling cautiously, trying to keep Inoue at bay and feel out the rhythm of the fight. He used pivots and small angle shifts to avoid being cornered, knowing full well that giving ground to Inoue could be dangerous. The chess match had begun. The second round saw the first signs of change. Inoue's movement became more fluid. He started throwing his jab with authority, snapping it into Fulton's midsection and chest. These weren't knockout punches, but they served a purpose, disrupting Fulton's rhythm and drawing reactions. Slowly but surely, Inoue began collapsing the space. He was now darting in and out with bursts of offense. Fulton's jab, once a weapon of control, began missing its mark. His timing was being tampered with. The crowd felt the energy shift. Inoue's footwork, subtle but decisive, was starting to control the geography of the ring. By the third round, the roles had flipped. Inoue was now the one dictating not just space, but timing. He was anticipating Fulton's combinations, beating him to the punch, and then vanishing before Fulton could counter. He was executing feints that forced defensive reactions, only to capitalize on the hesitation with quick counters. The psychological battle was underway, and Inoue was winning it. Every landed shot, from a jab to the body to a short right hand upstairs, was precise and clean. There was no excess motion, no wasted energy, and it began to show in Fulton's demeanor. The champion from Philadelphia wasn't unraveling, but he was being constrained. The tools that had carried him to the pinnacle of the division, his jab, his movement, his ability to frustrate, were being systematically dismantled. The fourth round further solidified Inoue's control. His footwork began to shine. He'd step in with a jab to the body, then spin off, leaving Fulton punching air. He'd launch triple jabs, then slide a right hand through Fulton's guard before ducking out of range. It was more than just athleticism, it was surgical. Fulton tried to adjust, tried to increase his output, but every adjustment was met with a faster, more accurate response. Inoue wasn't just fighting to win. He was fighting to dominate, and he was doing so with a calm, almost stoic demeanor. In round 5, the pressure became suffocating. Inoue began cutting off the ring, walking Fulton down, and forcing him into corners. The slick, defensive champion who once glided around the ring now found himself trapped against the ropes. Inoue, never rushing, would unload to the body, sneak hooks around the guard, and exit before Fulton could return fire. The message was loud and clear. This was no longer a competitive fight, it was a showcase. And Fulton, for all his toughness, looked increasingly uncomfortable. Despite being the smaller man physically, Inoue imposed himself like the natural super bantamweight. His punches still carried snap. His movements remained crisp. But more importantly, his sense of distance and timing kept Fulton frozen. Every time Fulton tried to jab, he was met with a counter. Every time he tried to move, he found himself intercepted. The rhythm he was known for, the pattern of controlling pace and tempo, was now in tatters. His corner urged urgency and told him to brawl, to rough things up. But Inoue wasn't giving him the chance. The sixth round saw the transformation of the bout into a one-sided display. Inoue now controlled everything: range, pace, and momentum. He began throwing longer combinations, 3, 4, sometimes 5 punches at a time. He wasn't just faster, he was mentally a step ahead. Fulton's face began to redden from the accumulation. His footwork slowed. He still fought back, still tried to establish himself, but he was now reacting, not initiating. The arena sensed it. The commentators sensed it. And perhaps most importantly, Fulton sensed it. Inoue, as always, showed no signs of excitement or showmanship. His demeanor remained unchanged, intense, focused, and calm. He wasn't hunting for a highlight reel finish. He was breaking a man down. The body shots had begun to pile up, sapping Fulton's movement. The head shots, crisp and frequent, were discouraging him from trading. The psychological impact was unmistakable. Fulton wasn't afraid, he was demoralized. He'd entered the ring with confidence and belief. But belief can only last so long when everything you try fails. By the seventh, it had become a question of when, not if. Inoue had won every round. The punch statistics, while informative, didn't fully capture the scale of the dominance. It wasn't just that Inoue was landing more, it was the quality and impact of what he was landing, combined with his ability to nullify everything Fulton attempted. Fulton's shoulders sagged a little more. His jabs came slower. His defense, once active and reliable, began breaking down. There were murmurs in the crowd. People knew the end was near. Then came round 8. Fulton tried one last time to rally, to create distance and buy time. But it was too late. Inoue saw the pattern. He saw the rhythm. And he stepped in with perfect timing. A crushing right hand slipped through Fulton's guard and detonated. Fulton crashed to the canvas. Eyes blinking. Dazed. He beat the count, but he wasn't fully there. Inoue didn't smother him in panic. He stalked with precision, landed the follow-up shots with expert timing, hooks to the head, ripping shots to the body, and forced the referee's hand. It was over. Fulton was still upright when the stoppage came, but the message was clear. He had been broken. Not just physically, but mentally. Inoue didn't rely on controversy. He didn't need to bend rules. He didn't need loaded gloves. All he needed was his skill. This was more than just a win. It was a statement. Naoya Inoue stepped into a new division, faced an undefeated unified champion in his prime, and reduced him to hesitation and hopelessness. He left no doubt. No questions. Just clarity. Inoue didn't just claim another title that night. He strengthened his case as one of the greatest boxers of this generation. He silenced doubters, dismissed accusations, and reminded the world that greatness isn't something whispered, it's something declared with fists.